Hello and welcome to Jamaicans.com. Welcome to My Temple Wellness. My name is Deborah Johnson and I am your host for today's show. So we are going to be on for about half an hour today. Happy Monday, guys. Happy Monday. What are you all up to? How was your weekend? What did you do? Have you been eating healthy and eating your veggies and taking care of yourself? Going for those walks and making sure you're taking care of yourself. All right, guys, so let's just jump right in here today because I want to get through this presentation. I decided to do a presentation today because I really wanted this information to sink in. Last week we were in my kitchen and that was great. We got a chance to cook. We got a chance to, well, we didn't really cook, but we got a chance to like prepare something. But today I kind of just want to focus on really giving you some detailed information. And obviously, if you want more of this information when I'm done, just let me know. I can share with you some of the slides and so forth. So again, welcome, guys. Before I go any further, just want to share a little bit about myself. So if you've, this is your first time coming on and seeing me, again, I'm Deborah Johnson and I'm a nutritionist. I focus on community nutrition. So I work a lot within community organizations. I'm also plant-based. So I focus a lot on plant-based eating. And that's really my message. Always when you hear me speaking, you're always going to hear me talking about plant-based eating. So I have a master's degree in nutrition as well. So I wanted to point that out, but also to let you know that I founded a company in 2018 called My Temple Wellness. And if you're not following me, guys, you have to be following me on My Temple Wellness. And when you follow me on My Temple Wellness on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I'm on Twitter too. You'll get to see things that I share, healthy recipes and just different things. Sometimes I go live on my Facebook page and not on Jamaicans.com, or I'm live on Instagram giving weekly tips and so forth. So follow me on those pages. But let me show you what the site is. You can know where to follow. You're going to be following My Temple Wellness, basically, right? So it's the name of my brand across the board. All right, you guys can see on this side here, that's my brand, that's the name of my brand, and it's all about focusing on the fact that the body is a temple. That is my focus, and so that's usually what my message is all about. So in addition to being a nutritionist, I'm also a mental health first aid instructor, and so I want to also encourage you guys to sign up for mental health first aid certificate, which I have a class that I'm trying to schedule right now. So stay tuned for that, but go to my website. You may see a class already out there in May and possibly one more coming in April that still has seats that you guys can get into. All right, so that's it before we get in. Let me see what else. I want you to share the video. I want you to make comments as you're coming on here. There goes my friend. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Every time I see you, I get so happy, Sophia. Hey, Sophia, good afternoon, lady. What are you doing? Write a little note. Tell me what you're up to. Hey, Miss Ann Karen Daly. Ann Karen Daly. Cool name. From Toronto. Yeah, guys, let me know where you guys are watching from. Carrick Johnson, if you guys don't already know who that is, do some investigation. He's coming from New York City or the Bronx, which is where I'm at, right? I'm in the Bronx. And hello, Miss Desireen Cuff. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know if there's any YouTubers out there. Pretty much everybody here so far has been from Facebook. Guys, I'm so happy you're here. Tell me how your weekend was. Tell me where you're watching me from. I want to see you guys talk to me. I don't want to be out here by myself. Okay? So please share some of what you guys ate over the weekend. You guys know the drill, right? I want to know what you ate for Sunday dinner. I want to know if you have any Sunday, Monday left. And if not, if you're going to do some type of plant-based, dinner tonight, where you're living, all of that. I want to be all in your business. Y'all in mine, right? So I can get into yours, okay? So Miss Desireen says she's in Maryland. Bless up, bless up, bless up. And there goes Carol Harvey. So I love to say hi to you guys before I start the program because it gives me time to get everybody in the room so you don't miss the message. And so that's what I'm doing as well, is to give you guys a chance to kind of get into the room and to, before we start. So we have Miss Clarissa from Alabama. Welcome. Carol from Pennsylvania. All right, Miss Carol, welcome. I used to live in Pennsylvania some time ago. another story for another day. All right, guys. So we are a few minutes in. I think that's enough time, 5 minutes to come in the room. I think that's good. We're going to jump right into our program. So guys, April is Mental Health Awareness Month, all right? And I think I've been saying that the goal of this month is for us to hammer away at learning how we can handle stress in our lives. My focus is going to be today, I'm going to give you a little bit of breakdown on what stress is. Then I'm going to give you some nutrition tips. So you got to hang on in there to get the tips. They're going to be towards the end. But what I'm going to walk you through about stress and so forth will come in the beginning. And it's also very important information for you to know, because I'm going to talk about some of the signs, some of the symptoms, where you can identify, how you can identify this stress within your life, how it shows up in your life. All right. So we're going to do that just now. I do want to share with you guys, we'll do that at the end. I'll share with you my page, my website, my page and all that, so you can know how to navigate should you decide to go up there. All right, let's take a couple more comments here before we go any further. Miss Susan from Connecticut. And then, of course, our London friends are always here. Miss Barbara from London. Big up yourself, Miss Barbara. Welcome. So happy to have you on. Really happy to see all of you guys out here. You care about your health, and that's why you're here on this weekly program that I do on nutrition. So yeah, guys, just excited that you all are here. All right. So, okay, share the video. We're about to get started. So make sure you're putting it on your page so other folks can see that we're doing this. Again, today is about mental health, stress management, and we're going to jump right into managing stress and diet. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So you're going to get some tips on how to manage stress using diets, and I'll also provide some other tips along the way. So guys, as a nutritionist, I actually went back. You guys know I like to study. I went back and I got a nutritional psychology certification. So I have merged, I'm really interested in mental health, the mind, why we eat certain foods. And so for that reason, this topic is really near and dear to my heart. And so you're going to get a little bit more extra information from listening to someone like me, because I have not only the mental health first aid instruction as an instructor, but also I have a nutritional psychology certification. So this is a topic that is really something that matters. When we think about why we eat, a lot of it has to do with stress. Okay, we're not just eating because we're hungry. We're eating because a lot of us are stressed, right? So we'll get into that some more, because the month is not over. So maybe the next week or the week after, I'm going to get more deeper into this stuff. All right. So let's get right into it today, guys. I'm going to become a little small on the side, as I said before, and then you get to see a little bit more of the presentation. So managing stress with diet. I am your presenter, Deborah Johnson. As I said before, a nutritionist. Let's get right in here with the disclaimer. So guys, as you know, I am not a medical doctor, although I'm a nutritionist. I'm not a medical doctor, so I want to emphasize that to you guys today. So all the information that I'm providing during this presentation is really intended for informational purposes only. So you cannot treat yourself with this information or even diagnose yourself. So you want to speak to your doctor for your condition, right? If you happen to be having a condition related to the things we're going to discuss, just make sure you're speaking to your doctor should you have any questions or concerns. All right, guys. So as I said before, April is Stress Awareness Month, and it's really a time that we pause to really unwind, right, and relax. We want to rejuvenate ourselves in April, and this is National Association Stress Awareness Month. So this is really national, nationwide. I don't know if it's worldwide, but it's really nationwide. So this is really the focus, is to give you an opportunity during this month to pause and to say, hey, I need to unwind. I need to relax and rejuvenate myself, because, you know, sometimes stress is unavoidable in our lives. And so, you know, we need to really take a minute to really just pause, right? And so that's why we're doing this. That's why we want to really hammer away at it in April, all right? So take some time for yourself, but we'll go over all of that shortly. So let's talk about stress first. What is stress? Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous, right? Stress is your body's reaction to a challenge or a demand. So in short bursts, stress can be positive, such as when it helps you to avoid danger. Now, before I go any further, I want to tell you guys about a little story about myself, right? So what we're talking about, the short-term stress that can occur in the body, that is good. That is great for us, right? That we need to have this type of stress response is if you're running away from a dog, if you're running away from something chasing you, if something is happening in a moment and you have to really react, the body takes on stress at that moment, but it's short term. And we'll talk about the difference between short term and long term shortly. But I had a stressful event with dogs chasing me one Sunday. I was going to church, and I tell you, I mean, it was the most scariest situation. I saw these really large dogs charging towards me. Well, first they were just in the yard, and I was walking and looking back, and all of a sudden they seemed like they were coming to get me, and I just started running. I tried to throw myself over this fence. Guys, it was so bad. I threw my pocketbook in the bushes, tried to throw myself over the fence, didn't make it over the fence. Thank God the owner came, and but my stress response really picked up in that moment because I was trying to save my life, basically, because these dogs were massive. So in a state like that, stress is okay. It's short term. You need it. You're trying to avoid danger. So that's okay. But when we stay in a heightened state, that's when it becomes a problem. So we'll talk about that. So 3 facts about stress that you guys should know. Stress can be debilitating. It can cause and aggravate health problems, right? So it can increase your health issues if you already have one. And people are more susceptible to a variety of ailments, from headaches and insomnia to even high blood pressure, right? And heart issues, right? So we have to be mindful of that when it comes to stress. So these are the 3 main facts I want to point out. The second one is, according to National Institute of Mental Health, stress can motivate people to prepare or perform. Stress can motivate people or prepare or perform, and might even be life-saving in some situations. Like for instance, with me and the dog, right? That was sort of like a life-saving incident where I had to get away. If I didn't run, I know maybe something would have happened. I don't know, right? In addition to that, there was a survey by American Psychology Association that found that 5 factors most often cited to be the source of our stress is money, right? Work, family, and economic outlook, and of course, relationships, right? Our interactions with others. These are some of our main source of stress that occur within our lives, all right? So we have to be mindful. If we know where the stressors are coming from, we tend to be a little bit more mindful of them. All right. Now, prevalence just means how often it occurs. And so here, this is a prevalence of stress. So according to American Psychology Association, 1/3, guys, that's a lot. 1/3 of Americans are living with extreme stress, not just regular stress, extreme stress. And then half of Americans, which is about 48%, they're estimating, believe that their stress has increased over the past 5 years. Now, I'll say this. Stress has actually, and that number has actually changed. Stress has increased not just in the last 5 years, but significantly over the last year and a half, right? Since COVID started, has significantly increased, right? And then 4 in 10 Americans, which is about, they're saying 43%, overeat, right? Which is what we're talking about. I wanted to put this one in there because I want us to think about this. So we're overeating. Everybody puts on some quarantine and quarantine 15, right? We've been locked up in the house. We're stressed. We can't see family. So we're overeating. We're also eating unhealthy foods, right? And then we're not really managing the stress that comes as a result of our overeating and all this other stuff. So we're self-medicating with food. And I totally understand, because I do the same thing. I'm a nutritionist, doesn't mean I'm exempt, right? All right, so that's the thing I want you guys to note. 4 out of 10. Stress causes more than half of Americans to fight with people that they are close to. So guys, not only are we overeating, but we're fighting with our family members, we're fighting with our friends because we're just stressed out. All right. And so that's one of the things that stress can do to our bodies. We have to be mindful because we're not aware sometimes of what's going on. So we'll go into some of the symptoms very shortly so you guys can be aware of what some of those are. So yeah, let's get right into it now, actually. What are the reasons for us to stress, right? Let's talk about that. So some of the reasons that we're stressing have to do with job loss. We know that happened when COVID hit. A lot of people lost their jobs. So we're stressing, I mentioned before, about money. And I understand that, right? Loss of loved ones, right? I lost an aunt And I also have really close friends who's lost parents and family. So it's really been a lot of stress for a lot of people. I think everybody can say they might know someone who's lost someone, even if it's not them directly, right? Childhood abuse or neglect or poverty, bullying, getting married, right? Can be stressful if you get married, and also getting a divorce can be stressful, massively stressful, I'm sure. Moving, if you're moving, whether it's to upgrade or downgrade, whatever it is, chronic illness, exposure to violence, and also racism. Let's point that out, racism, guys. That's one of the reasons for us to find stress in our bodies. Now, stress and trauma really becomes toxic and serious when it's frequent and prolonged. So the longer it goes on within our body, the more we find stress within our body, right? And I'm just going to blow this up just a little bit so we could talk a little bit about acute and long-term stress. So if you're looking at this slide, you see that stress affects the body in different ways. You have chronic fatigue, loss of sex drive. You have irritable bowel syndrome or IBS. Obesity is also a result because of cortisol. Whenever you have a high stress situation, guys, the cortisol is released and it's stored in sort of like in the stomach area. So you tend to have a lot of fat that comes around your stomach area. Is really sometimes because of stress. So the more you stress, and I know because I have I'm carrying some of that stress belly fat right here, right now. I'm trying to work on it. But yeah, we carry stress in our stomach, right? And that's where my stress shows up. So I have like stomach pains or just not feeling well in my tummy. I just feel like, this sort of like intense feeling in my stomach. And so we have to understand that all these different reasons that we might be experiencing are causing us stress that are inflicted on our body. And I'm going to go over the physical ways, the ways that you can see stress show up in your physical body in just a second. But I also want to point out chronic versus acute stress. All right. So the chronic stress, as I said before, chronic stress is when it's long lasting, prolonged. It doesn't seem to go away. You have this sort of almost hopelessness, right? You're thinking this is never going to end. And that could be an example of, let's say, if someone is ill, if you have unsure of your living situation, you're having immigration issues, right? You're unsure whether or not ISIS, you know what I mean? All of that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that can come from our just keeping things on our mind, things that we don't even have control over sometimes, but we stress about them and we have anxiety around them. And then you have the acute stress, which is short term. So like I said before, when I was being chased by the dog, that was short term, but also it could be like you thinking about, studying for an exam, or, you're going on a date or something like that to meet your new honey. So you have a little bit of acute stress related to that. But that's sort of normal, right? But the chronic stress is what you guys want to look out for. Chronic stress is long lasting. It's debilitating, and it can cause all these things in your body: fatigue, loss of sex drive, irritable bowel syndrome, and I mentioned already the obesity because of the cortisol, which is a stress hormone. All right, let's talk a little bit about the signs and symptoms. As I mentioned before, these are some of the things that you can see happening, psychological and emotional things that you can see happening. So depression, anxiety. If you are stressed, nine times out of 10, especially if it's ongoing, you're going to have depression, you're going to have anxiety, right? Whether it's, fear-based, whatever it is, anxiety and depression is one of the psychological and emotional signs of stress, okay? And depression, you guys can point out because sometimes you don't want to go outside, you have to close the curtains, you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't pick up your phone, all these things. And then another sign and symptom of stress, psychological, emotional, is anger, irritability, restlessness, right? Also, you have a lot of racing thoughts. Your mind just keeps going and going, and you cannot seem to settle down. You cannot seem to stop your mind from going. Constant worrying. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give you guys a little secret. I still struggle with that a little bit. Sometimes I worry about things for no reason. I'm praying about it because that's my source is God, right? Most of you guys already know that. So I go to him for these things and he helps me out. But racing thoughts, constant worrying, feeling overwhelmed. And I'll give you guys some tips on how to deal with this, as I said before, towards the end. Unmotivated, unfocused, trouble sleeping too much, right? We close the curtains and you don't want nobody bothering you. Problem with your memory or concentration, because there is a direct link between when you're not sleeping, for example, and you have a lot of stress, it does affect your memory. And that's some scientific stuff that I'm not going to get into, but it really does. If you find that you're losing your memory is kind of not as sharp as it used to be, you're not as able to concentrate as you used to, sometimes it's related to stress, which can be correlated with, your lack of sleep. And of course, making bad decisions because you're just stressed out. You're like, I don't care, do whatever. You know what I mean? Those are some of the things that can happen as a result of your stress. Some other symptoms, and these are more physical symptoms, guys. So if you take a look at this, I'll just blow it up just a little bit for you. So you have aches and pains, chest pains, feeling like your heart is racing. Okay, so you're thinking you're having a heart attack. Actually, a lot of people think they're having a heart attack when it could just be a panic attack. In my mental health first aid class, if you take that class with me, you get to learn more about this stuff as well. We talk a lot about this stuff as well. So you get to see that, their signs and symptoms for a heart attack are similar to the signs and symptoms of just being stressed. All right. So you have headaches, dizziness or shaking, lots of dizziness, exhaustion or trouble sleeping. We've said that one before. That's a physical sign, right? This is a physical sign. High blood pressure is actually, most of is correlated, is connected, right? One of the side effects that can come if we stress too much. So that is huge, guys. High blood pressure is one of the things that really affect our community. And so we have to really pay attention to that. So not only is it the salt that we're eating, right? High salt in our food, but the stress levels can also cause us to have high blood pressure. I hope you heard that. Stress can cause high blood pressure. All right. One of the symptoms of stress is high blood pressure. Okay, that has been known for a very long time. So if this is the first time you're hearing it and you have high blood pressure, you want to start thinking how you could lower your stress. Okay, you can also have muscle tension or jaw clenching, right? So if you go to bed at night and you're sleeping, you're nudging your teeth, right? You just feel yourself tense. Like I tend to have my shoulders up. And if I'm getting ready to get a massage, you're like, okay, come on, put your shoulders down, because you're just, you're like walking around like this and you don't even know. And until you're getting a massage or you even check yourself, you realize, oh, I'm not even relaxed. My shoulders aren't back. I'm just up here, just tense. All right. So that's one of the ways that you can identify that you're having some type of stress symptom. And then of course, guys, the stomach or digestive problem, which is the main one that we're trying to address. You have issues with your stomach. Again, I told you guys that's one of mine, that I show stress in my stomach, my digestion. I tend to get bloating if I don't eat, if I'm eating while I'm stressed and I'm not relaxed, which I'll talk a little bit about shortly. You'll end up with digestive problems, right? Like IBS. So these are some of the symptoms of stress, guys. They're not only emotional and psychological, but they are physical as well. All right. A lot of times folks go to the doctor and the doctor, check them out and look at them and see what's going on and come to find out it's really stress. When I was finishing my master's program, and it was a day I was in the library, and I remember clear as day because I had to finish my thesis and it was so much work and I was overwhelmed because I was working at the same time and I was just trying to balance all these things with my life. And I remember going to the doctor because I just felt like, what is going on? I felt lightheaded. I had some of the symptoms that are listed here. I had some of those. So I went to the doctor and he was like, I don't see anything wrong with you. And I was like, well, what's going on? He's like, are you sleeping? I was like, not so much. So then he's like, you're stressed out. So he literally wrote me a prescription. It was like, get some sleep, take a few days off. And I brought that into my job, and I was working at the school at the time teaching, and I took it to my my director, and I was like, hey, I know I'm scheduled to teach and the students are going to miss me, but I need a few days off. And I actually took his advice and actually felt better after. So that's the thing too, is to actually take some action steps towards taking care of yourself. If you identify that there are issues, guys, some doctors will try to give you sleeping pills, because one doctor actually wrote me a prescription for sleeping pills. And I was like, I'm not taking this. Why? Because it has so many other side effects. So I figured out how to get my stress level down so that I can sleep at night. All right. So let's keep going, guys, so we can get through here. So let's talk now. We're going to go into some of the nutrition things that you can do. So let's talk about what you can do immediately. So let's say you're sitting here, you're listening to Deborah, you're like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear this conversation. And you're kind of like, well, tell me what to do. We're going to talk about the food because that's important. Nutrition is very important, but I want to give you guys some tips like for immediately when you get off this thing, when you get off watching me, do these things, right? Exercise. This morning, I needed to exercise because I know what it does to me. I did not want to exercise at all, like at all. Like nothing in my body wanted me to exercise this morning. But I know that if I did that, I was going to release the feel good, what we call feel good hormones like endorphins. And it worked. I'm telling you guys, I'm not lying to you. It works, but you never feel like exercising. Nobody does, but you push yourself to do it. And when you're done, half an hour or so, even 50 minutes of intense, right? 30 minutes, you don't have to go as intense. 45 minutes, you don't have to go as intense. But 15 minutes, if it's only 15 minutes, you kind of got to go hard. Okay, you kind of got to go hard with it. But 30 minutes of whatever exercise that makes you happy, do it. That's why I picked up running. I go outside, guys. And when I'm outside on the pavement, a good girlfriend of mine introduced me and my husband into it. And I'm so grateful for that because ever since I started doing that, I find peace just running. And it was such a sort of like, it seemed like such a no-brainer. But until you start doing something, whether it's walking and inhaling, fresh air and observing the trees and people, whatever it is, right? Something that's going to actually get the good hormones pumping. The body is chemistry. So these things are in us. We just have to release it. We have to activate it. All right. So exercising does that. All right. So I really put that number one because I want you guys to do that. If you get off of this thing and you're able to do a half an hour in, get it in. No problems. All right. Next one sounds a little bit weird, but get organized. Write a to-do list. I keep a notepad. I can't show it to you because it's really messy. Because I scribble stuff and all this other stuff. You get a little glimpse. But anyway, I write everything down and that actually gets my mind to be organized, right? Put it in your calendar, in your phone, whatever you need to do. Believe it or not, when you take it out of your noggin, when you get that information out of here and on paper and organize it, it can actually make a world of difference for you. And I do that myself because that's how, when I start feeling stressed sometimes about all the things I have to do, like this week is one of my busiest weeks yet. I have a bunch of different things going on this week. So I had to sit down and say, okay, Deborah, how much time you have for this? Organize myself. Once I did that, my stress level came down because I literally saw it on paper and I organized my time. Now, the third thing is pause and breathe. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I do a Wellness Wednesday check-in. And I've been trying to come on Facebook to do it, but it's hard to do it on both platforms, trying to do it simultaneously. Anyway, on my Instagram page on Wednesdays, I do what's called a wellness check-in. And I just jump on and once I do like deep breathing, we pause and we breathe together. And I'm on there for a few minutes and people come on and share and we talk and stuff like that. So if you guys want to do that, please follow me again at My Temple Wellness. But yeah, pause, guys. Breathe. Just inhale, hold for about 3 and exhale. And let's just do one right now together so you guys can get an example of what it looks like. So you would basically put your feet flat on the ground. You put your hand on your lap, relax your shoulders. And if you're somewhere where you can pause and do this with me right now, I would totally love it. I can't see you, but I trust that you're doing it. All right. So you put your feet flat on the ground. If you're driving, guys, keep your hand on the wheel. All right. So feet flat, hands on your thighs, right? And we're going to take one breath. I'm only going to do one. You could do the rest on your own after we're done. So let's go. Inhale. Exhale, right? So you can hold it for longer. So just inhale, exhale, and you do that 3-4 times or until you actually feel yourself coming down. It works. All right. Number 4 is to meditate. Now, meditating for me is prayer, is just sitting quietly with a little music. I also use, and I brought it here to show you guys, I use lavender. How do I get this thing off? Right. I use this lavender. Now, it doesn't really matter, right? So this is one that I got. I got Bulgarian lavender because my best friend's Bulgarian. But anyways, lavender. You can get lavender oil. And what I tend to do sometimes is I dip just a very tiny bit right here. And I just rub it. If I'm starting to feel a little bit stressed, again, guys, speak to your doctor if you have any type of issues. Just ask them if this is okay. And this lavender really relaxes you, right? Right? And so it's really calming. You could take a bath. I recently got some new products from Wellness Warrior that I'm going to be using and let you guys know all about it. But like, just get products that are going to help with your relaxation. So this is one of them, lavender oil that I keep. Sometimes I have the ones in my purse if I feel like I'm just overly stressed. And then things like this, like candles, right? Relieve your stress candles. And it's really just things that smell really good. I also keep a music box at my desk, right? And the reason I keep that here is when I'm good and ready, I want to put on a little bit of calming music or whatever it is, oceans or whatever, and that actually helps to bring my stress level down. So meditate, use sweet, things that smell a certain way to really, bring your to really calm you down. Or pray, whatever it is, guys, you want to do that to help reduce your stress immediately. These are some of the things that work like right away. Music, like I said, some of this lavender. Now I'm just like, I'm in heaven over here. And then, of course, finally, if you want to reduce your stress immediately, just take a break. Get up from your computer, book a vacation, drive somewhere over the weekend, go into the city. I live in the Bronx. Sometimes we just drive into Manhattan, walk around, whatever it is, just get out, do something different to break the monotony of what you're currently doing. All right. So that's some of the ways that you can actually reduce your stress immediately. Let's run on here, guys. I stayed a little bit too long on this, but that's all right. I want to really emphasize these points. Now, 7 diet tips, and these are where we're going to get into the nutrition stuff. So let's talk about it. Now, I did go over some of these last week, so go back and watch my show that I did last week. You're going to get a little bit more information. So today I'm just going to read the first few because these were things, like I said, I discussed a little bit more in detail last week on last week's show. So number 1, food follows mood. And I did say you want to eat breakfast. Do not go hungry when you first wake up. The goal is to eat within 1 hour of waking up. All right, guys, you want to eliminate refined carbohydrates. What does that mean? Stuff that has preservatives and additives. Those are some of the foods that are refined. Refined carbs are like white flour, white sugar, white rice. We've been preaching this all the time. And then also eliminating or reducing foods that have hormones, right? So what are those? Those are sort of, those are meat products, right? Chicken, some of the chicken that are pumped up with hormones, some of the meats that's pumped up with hormones, and of course pesticides that you find on some of the fruits if you're not having the organic option, right? Which, if I told you guys last week, if you are eating the skin, make sure you're getting the organic option. All right, if you're not eating the skin, that's a different story. And even then, like, just try to get the organic option if you are eating the skin. All right, and if you guys have ever heard when someone say, I have the itis, that happens because you're eating high sugary foods, high carbs food, and then you're laying down because that's what happens. What goes up comes down. You're crashing directly after you've eaten those food because your blood sugar, when it drops, your mood drops, right? So if your blood sugar is dropping, your mood drops. But also remember, we talked about cortisol. You get that fat in your stomach as well. So it's threefold. You're getting 3 different things happening. And then you might get aggravated at your family member for no good reason. Number 2, let's run through. Nourish your brain. 2 brains, guys. First and second brain. Your first brain, this brain made up of 60% fat, right? You want to eat healthy fats like avocado. Walnuts is specifically shaped like the brain. And so they always tell you, eat the food that's shaped like kidney beans is supposed to be good for your kidney if you're healthy. Walnuts, great for the brain, sort of looks like the brain, right? And then, of course, the second gut, which is in your stomach. And if you've never heard this before, guys, your second brain is your stomach or your gut. That's where digestion takes place. That's where you have to make sure you're eating the high fiber rich foods, because your digestive system is where also serotonin is. And serotonin helps with your relaxation. It helps with your sleep. So when your gut is healthy, your brain is healthy, right? Because it's the same. It's 2 different guts. I know it sounds a little bit complicated, but 2 different brain. Your first brain is the brain here, fats. The brain here, fiber. Okay, so fats and fiber. Obviously, you want to still eat the rainbow, which we said which is listed here as number 5. But specifically, if I was to give you a tip on how to nourish your 2 brains, it would be eat lots of good healthy fats for your first brain, lots of high fiber rich foods, vegetables, and so forth for your second gut or your second brain, which is your gut. I know I keep mixing that up. All right. Number 3, eat only when relaxed and not under stress. So if you're eating on the go, you're running an errand, you're stopping and taking 2 bites, you're doing a report, your body is not relaxed. You're not going to digest all the food that you're intaking. So you may be eating a big bowl of delicious greens and so forth, but your body's not going to really absorb it, because what's happening is, and I explained this last week, the body has what's called digestive enzymes, and these enzymes are used to break down the food, then distribute the nutrients throughout the body, right, via the bloodstream. So if you are not relaxed within that moment, this system is not going to work, right? It may work slightly, but it's not going to really work the way you want it to work. So you're having leaky gut, you're having gut permeability, which means the food is just not going where it needs to go. All right. So you want to make sure you're relaxed, that you're not on the go, constantly eating. I wouldn't say drinking. If you're drinking some juice or water or something like that, you're fine. But I would say when you're digesting things, it's very difficult for the body to do anything with the food that you're ingesting if you're not relaxed. Okay. So make sure you're relaxed. So 4th thing here, no single diet is right for anyone. Now, I know plant-based diet is the best recommended diet for majority of the population, from, I would say, all of us, right? But when you have different cultures and your upbringing, how you were raised, if you see yam, like I see yam and dumplings, certain things like that, my body is used to that. My chemistry is used to that, because my parents also used to eat that, right? So because our biochemistry and our cultural background is different, everybody has to sort of formulate what works for them. But still in all, the plant-based diet is the optimal diet for brain health. Okay, so I want to point that out. So keep that in mind. Okay, you might have to work with someone to ensure and to find the right diet for you, the best one that works for you, because you have to try different things to see what works, right? So although I'm a plant-based nutritionist, I'm also a realist, and I understand that some people might need to incorporate some fish, or might need to incorporate, I will never tell you to incorporate red meat, might need to incorporate some other things. But yeah, so there's no one diet for everyone. All right. So I want to point that out because our chemistry and everything is different. Number 5, eat colors of the rainbow. I don't need to say too much on that, guys. You know already what the rainbow looks like. Lots of colors. And that's really because each produce, right? So each vegetable, fruit, whatever it is, has different minerals in it. I just did a show on BronxNet TV. If you guys haven't seen it, it's going to air again. And I'll put the link. You guys can watch it. It aired. It's airing every Saturday in April. And I talked about okra. And okra has so many health benefits. Now, if you never eat okra, you probably will never, not that you'll never, because you can get different things from different foods. But when you learn about how much one food has in it, it really encourages you to eat that food. So all different vegetables and fruits have different nutrients. So you eat the rainbow. If you eat the rainbow, you're going to be getting a little bit of vitamin K, some minerals here, potassium here, right? And this is all the things that the body needs so you can have this glowy skin, so you can live, long, healthy lives. So that's why we say eat the rainbow. It's not just because it sounds cute and cool to say it. It's because you're getting all the different nutrients from these rainbow foods, right? Let's get through these others. Number 6, guys, avoid using alcohol and drugs to self-medicate. And I'm saying that because when you take drugs or you drink alcohol, it's actually has no benefit to your body. These are things, alcohol doesn't do anything for you. It's empty calories. It's destroying your system. It's destroying your liver slowly over time. I know you guys know that. When I was growing up, my parents say no to drugs. And I always remember that. Just say no to drugs. I don't know if they still say that these days, but just say no to drugs, including alcohol. Alcohol is also very, very strong. People underestimate the effects of alcohol on their body. All right. Massive damage. All right. So don't self-medicate, because when you get stressed, what do? Some people reach for a glass of wine after work, or no judgment, because we don't judge here. But I want to point out, guys, if that's what you're doing, you want to mitigate that, because it's also altering your consciousness, right? As much as you think you're taking care of yourself and you're just going to come down, you're actually going to wire yourself. You're not going to sleep well at night, because the alcohol actually, especially after a certain time, does affect your sleeping. So you have to be aware of that as well. Alcohol affects your sleeping. So you're not going to have a restful sleep if you have alcohol. You may feel good for like that moment, but you won't actually, it's not lasting. So do some of the other things that I told you, exercise and so forth. I know, right? Who wants to do that? Everybody want a quick fix. but it doesn't work. So I'm giving you things that actually work. All right. Now, diet is essential. There's a final one here, but it's not enough. So you need to change your lifestyle, right? So as much as I'm here as a nutritionist preaching to you about diet, do this for your diet, I really want you to think about your entire lifestyle, your holistic lifestyle, right? It's not just about focusing on food. In order for you to be healthy and strong, it's not just about your diet. The diet is huge part of it, huge part of it, because it's informing your cells and it's doing so many great things inside your body. But you really need to change your lifestyle. All right. So that's 7. That's the final one on that list. And let's just get you a few more tips here. And then we're going to ask ourselves a couple of questions and then we'll be done. So some other tips here, guys, and some of them are going to be a little bit repetitive. So you're going to manage your glucose levels. We already talked about that. Make sure you're managing that. That's very, very vital, very important for your stress levels. I want to point out that you want to also eat lunch, breakfast, and dinner. A lot of times we're skipping meals because we fasting. Totally fine, spiritual reasons, or just if you're doing intermittent fasting, that's totally fine, especially if you're talking to a doctor about it. None of my business. But in terms of what's going to balance you and keep you level so that you can have sort of a balanced blood sugar, which will keep your stress level down, you want to eat these meals. 3 solid meals. Make sure they are balanced. As I said last week, you have your proteins and your carbohydrates and your healthy fats, all healthy options. You can combine protein with carbohydrates at your snack time. I also shared a healthy, let's see if I can pull that in. I don't want to pull that in here. I'll pull it in after. I also shared a healthy energy balls. Yeah, energy balls and my social media platforms. So if you're not following me, as I said before, follow me on My Temple Wellness so you can get those recipes, because those healthy energy balls are things that you can have on the go, keep with you. And like I said before, some of the other healthy snacks, eating nuts, having some hummus, right? Hummus. And I have a hummus recipe on my website. If you guys don't know what hummus is and you want to learn how to make it, go to mytemplewellness.com. I share a hummus recipe on there that you can use, and you can eat that with carrots. I know a lot of people, especially because we're on Jamaicans.com, people think that I'm supposed to be out here talking to you guys about Jamaican food. Listen, all food matter to our health. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and just talk about Jamaican food, because you know, our typical culture and our typical, some of the typical things that we eat are lots of the sauces and stuff, but we also eat lots of fruits. We also eat lots of vegetables. So, you know, I'm not talking to you about all this processed stuff. I'm talking to you about good, healthy options that you can use. I know hummus is not a part of our culture, but we're broadening our horizons, right? So try those healthy snacks, 3 meals and 3 snacks, okay? And you can actually have a snack right before bed. It just has to be the right type of balanced snack and a small portion as well. Don't eat a cup of ice cream before you go to bed. You're going to wake up 3 hours in, you're going to wake up. Guaranteed. Take my word. So you want to eat things that are going to be balanced. A simple crackers with some peanut butter without the salt, without the sugar, by the way. So just peanut butter, meaning peanut grinded. That's it. They sell those. So you want to read your labels. All right. So you're not getting a type of peanut butter with all this other stuff in it. All right. So you want to, that was number 2, decrease stimulant foods, which we talked about. So caffeine and things like that. Actually, I didn't talk about caffeine, but know that you can reduce that by decreasing the stimulants, by reducing the stimulant-type foods like coffees, right? And donuts, sugary stuff like that. Reduce or eliminate sugary or refined foods. I've been saying that. Identify comfort foods. So guys, you want to find healthy comfort foods that you like, right? Healthy options that you like. And then of course, plan healthy nutritional substitutions. I'm going to give you guys some substitutions before we get off today. So you'll see how you can substitute some things in your diet, some of the things that you love, right? And of course, exercise. You see the 2 ladies over there going out together. They're dealing with their mental health because they're socializing. They got their music plugged in. So, you know, and they're probably somewhere by the beach. Let's just pretend they're walking on the beach someplace in Jamaica and they're power walking and getting in their exercise with their weights and stuff like that. So these are some of the things that we can do, guys. Other tips that I just wanted to share with you. And then let's get into some of the questions I want you to ask yourself. So before we get to the final slide, this is our second to last slide, right? I want you guys to ask yourself, I thought I was going to be only half an hour, but these stories sometimes, We have the whole hour, so it's fine. All right. So you want to question yourself in these ways. You want to ask yourself these questions, right? So how many of my meals am I preparing? Are you eating at home or are you eating out all the time? Eating out all the time means you're getting unknown amount of salt in your food. So if you have high blood pressure, you're going to be concerned with that, right? You're also going to have oils that you're not familiar with that could be causing you heart issues, right? So it's not just for mental health, but also for your other, physical body. So how many of my meals am I preparing? Am I eating out too much? Like it says here, how many times am I having fast food, right? How am I preparing my meals? So am I frying everything? Am I baking some things? Am I eating lots of raw vegetables? You want to ask yourself those questions. Make some decisions about what we discussed already. And this is how you're going to actually make some change, right? Also, which foods make me feel good? And I want to make a recommendation to you guys here. And if you want me to give you a food diary link that you can get yourself a food diary, please let me know in the comments and I'll do that for you. All right. Because I know of a really good one that you can use to track your stuff. And it's something that I do as well, that if we work together, I would help you to do that. That's something that I offer. So you can ask me about that too. So which foods make me feel good? Write it down. So if you're tracking, and I tell people, track your food for 3 days. Do a 3-day food diary. Track what you eat from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. Write it down. The next day, see how you feel. Track again the second day, what you ate from the minute you woke up, and don't alter. Just do what you would normally do. Track your foods, right? On the third day, do the same thing. And then really write down how you feel. Write down if you feel good, all right? And then the other flip side of that, see what foods make you feel bad. So in the same diary, you're going to track what makes you feel good. You're going to track what makes you feel bad. All right. And you do this for X amount of days and you really get to see, you know what? Every time I eat this is how I feel like this. I feel sleepy or I feel whatever it is. You write down how your physical body feels, whether you feel lethargic, whether you feel just confused, right? Write it down, track it. And it's work, but it's work to help yourself so you can really get to see what works for your body, for your system. And then the last couple of things here that I want you guys to ask yourself, who are your allies? Who are the people that you can really count on in your household, in your family? Who are people who could really, support what you're trying to do? Because a lot of us are trying to work on ourselves, bettering ourselves, reducing our stress, build strong, healthy bodies, but we don't have any support. Now, I could be one of your support because I'm out here every Monday. So you come out here, put your little comments in, and I'll try to support you, whether it be in response to producing a show towards your question, but also just responding to you and writing you an email or whatever it is. I do those type of things. So if you guys want to send me an email, write me a note, let me know how you're doing. The other day I was on live on Instagram and someone came on. She's one of my regulars and I actually have to send her an email because I didn't hear from her. And she was saying she's just not doing well. And I told her, send me an email. Let's talk, right? Let's find out what's going on. I'm not her doctor. I'm not her nutritionist, but I could certainly sort of help you if you have a specific question. If I can't help you, I probably know someone who can. I can sort of help directing you to find someone that can help you, right? So guys, don't just suffer in silence, right? Don't go through these things in silence. Don't go through your stress in silence. And again, if you take that mental health class, you'll learn so much about all these things that I'm saying, but then some, right? So find your allies, guys. Find people in your household, your family, that will help you. I have sisters that are always, we talk a lot of times. They help me. I have my household, my husband, my 17-year-old over here. So we all help each other out. And then also your friends. Who are your friends? Like I said, I have quite a few, not a lot, small group now, tiny group. And those folks, they can text me. I can text them. They help me out. I help them out and they help me with, let's say, my running. So we have a little running group. I might have told you guys this before. And we encourage each other, by saying, hey, did you run today? Or we just share our runs. And when we share your run, you're like, oh man, I should get out there. I should start doing something again. So find people that you can have to support you. That's going to be an ally. That's going to help you to get to where you want to be with your stress levels, right? You really want to do that. And our final slide here, guys, as promised, is I'm going to give you the substitution. Feel free to I'm going to put it all on the screen if you want to take a photo of this. as I put it up, please feel free to do that. So here it is, guys. So breads and sweets, right? So these are some of our favorite foods. We love bread, we love sweets. And here are some things that you can do. You can have some sweet potato, roasted sweet potato. I roast my sweet potato in the skin. Also plantain, right? We love plantain. That's one of our cultural foods. Sweet potato and plantain is from our culture, our Jamaican roots, right? So you want to do things like that instead of the bread and instead of the sweets. I'm about to make a sweet potato pudding for this, and I'll probably send you guys an invitation when I do it. I'll let you guys know. But I'm doing a workshop, and on that workshop, I'm actually going to be showcasing sweet potato pudding. So for dessert, so that's something that you can do, right? You can substitute. These sugary foods that we're buying in the store, these donuts, make our own healthy options at home, right? So smoothie, use things like dates, right? If you guys don't know what dates are, just Google it, right? Don't be lazy. Google dates, and I use specifically Medjool dates, right? Medjool. I think that's how you spell it. Oh my gosh, don't quote me. Google it, all right? So you basically take that, like I made some pancakes on Saturday. Either Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember. And I basically took the dates and I had soaked the dates for several days, and I blended them, pureed them, and I added, you guys getting a free recipe right now for your pancakes. Because I told you guys I don't really put pancake syrup on my pancakes. I make my pancakes, as you guys could see, a few shows ago, I did the pancakes with the oats, blended oats. And so with the dates, you just blend them, you put in some cinnamon, you get your nutmeg, you put a little bit of vanilla in it. And that was just off the top of my head. And I just blend that up and then pour it on my pancakes. And instead of having a sugary syrup with a lot of other processed junk in it that's going to affect my body and my immune system, I have my own homemade dates, right? My own homemade syrup that I just made with dates. So substitutions are great, guys. And that's why I wanted to provide these for you. Chocolate, use cocoa powder, which is what I use in the energy balls. I provided the recipe if you guys want to go to the Instagram and Facebook to go grab that. And then, of course, coffee. I know, herbal teas instead. And of course, when it comes to like French fries and things like that, don't eat the outside French fries because you don't know what's in it. You want to really focus on making these things at home. All right. So that's how you're going to be substituting, guys, is by doing things like that. And that's basically the end of our presentation for today. Thank you guys all so very much for being here, for listening. I'm going to jump over to the comments and see if I have any comments or questions from you guys today. Let's just get this off the screen here. All right, there we go. So guys, let me share with you before I go into that. Let's share with you all my Facebook page so you can see in my Instagram page. So if you're looking for, this is what it looks like, guys. All right, so this is My Temple Wellness. We're live right now. And where is the stuff that I wanted to show you? I wanted to show you the recipe. So here is the recipe, the energy balls that I shared with you guys. So you can have a look and take this recipe card and just use it for your, healthy option. All right. This is a show I mentioned. So yeah, if you follow my page, you'll get to see all that I'm doing. You get to see the videos that are not on here, and so forth. All right. So that's my Facebook page. That's what it looks like. This is My Temple Wellness again on Instagram. And here you can also find the recipe I mentioned before. And again, sometimes I jump on and I just do quick recipes. So last Saturday, I think last Saturday I did like a smoothie recipe. I just jumped on and did that. This is one of my Wellness Wednesdays. So I share recipes on there, guys. So if you're looking for recipes and a little bit about my family, that's my mom and me husband's mom. So, so yeah, if you guys want to, learn more about what I'm doing, get some more recipes and so forth, that's probably your best option. Here's my website. All right. So you get to see a little bit about my services, the free recipes. Like I told you, here's a chickpea recipe. If you want to make chickpea, I have a bean burger on there, okra rice. I know a lot of us love okra. All right. So if you're looking for, learning more about me, what I do, this is where you'd find if you want to hire me to do some nutrition workshops or be a part of my mental health training. This is where you'd go and you just click here to get to my mental health first aid certification class, and you get to see what's available. All right, guys. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys so you can see for yourself what we do. All right, let's see if we can get to some of these comments before I go. I only got 5 minutes, guys. Let's get through them quickly. I'm so grateful that you guys are out here hanging out with me today. So I'm going to run through these quickly. All right, let's try to start from where we left off. So Navid Smith, hi, cuz. Oh my gosh, I love when my family come on. Guys, oh my gosh, I love when my family comes on and say hi. That's my cousin in Jamaica, Navid. Wagwa Navid. We used to live so close to each other. Now, me only way by yourself. Love you, cuz. Let's keep going. Juliet. Hey, another regular. Hi, Miss Juliet. The pocketbook should be your weapon. That must have been when I was telling the story, Desiree, about the pocketbook with the dog that I run my dog, right? Girl, me tell you, my mind just escaped me because the dog had chased and I didn't know what to do. Just the pocketbook just scatter everything in the pocketbook, but never know which part they gone. For those of you who are on here who don't understand that, I really apologize. I'm just speaking in my native patois, my native Jamaican tongue. All right, Chanel. All right, Mr. Tony Kelly. Yes, you are so right. As when we are growing up, stress was not a word or concept that we subscribe to. Now is a way. Oh my goodness, Mr. Tony, you are so right. Never heard about stress before. It was almost like you just deal with it, right? You're not even told to see a therapist, which is one of the things I wanted to say. Guys, if you're struggling, you need to talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. Don't worry about what people think or say. Matter of fact, keep it to yourself. Don't tell a whole bunch of people. But go do what you have to do. And now they have the ones you can do on the texting, you can do virtually. Please care for yourselves. Stress is killing people out here. Do not take it for granted, and don't take it for granted with your family members. When you see the signs and symptoms that we talked about, speak to them. Ask them the question, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Ask. You can. And that's what I teach in the mental health class. All right, guys, is how you can do it. All right. So thank you, Mr. Tony Kelly, another one of my good friends on here. He's in Birmingham. Sir, I would love to have you on if you're still watching one of these days. I know you are a diabetes specialist, so one of these days we'll have you on when we talk about diabetes so you could share with us. All right, and Karen, so true. I'm not sure what I said when she mentioned that, but here goes someone else here. We all go through it. I'm a psychologist and I go through sometimes. That's okay. Just manage it. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. This is great, guys. I love it. Psychologists themselves go through things, right? Nobody is immune from stress. Everybody goes through it. It's just a matter of how you take care of yourself. So thank you for sharing that, my friend, Sophia. Taking time for yourself is always beneficial. I hear that. That is a truth right there. Good talk, says Miss Julie from, that's from, what is that, YouTube. Hi, Shelly. Hey, girl. Hey, girl, hey. Y'all know I'm quite playful, right? I'm not a serious person. I mean, I can be when I need to be, but I'm a playful person. Donnie says, right. Yeah, man, with all the fruits and veggies afterwards. I love okra. Guys, when I was on the show, because of my Jamaican accent, I kept saying okra. It's really okra. It was funny, but yeah, okra is delicious. Even curry. I have to go try that. All right, guys, we're going to have to jump off. I'll get through the rest of the comments another time, but I love all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Right, Desiree and Dumpling. So many great comments. Food Diary. Yes, Sophia, you're right on it. Tell them, Miss Wellness Warrior. My IG page is My Temple Wellness. Please follow. Go check it out. All right, guys, we're gonna end the broadcast. Just caught the last 5 minutes, says Ricardo. But thank you. Of course, you can rewatch, Ricardo. All right, so if you're still on here, you can rewatch. I'm gonna end the broadcast, and then it's gonna automatically save to both YouTube and on Facebook. All right. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, walk good. And you guys eat your veggies, okay? And try not to stress. And again, watch this again 10 times if you have to, and share it on your page. So not only are you receiving the blessing, but someone else will receive the blessing. All right, guys. Magan, me talk to you later. I have to go. I love you guys. Share the video. All right. Walk good. Bye.